In Glasgow 2007, an organised and dangerous gang was terrorising the underworld with a series of savage kidnappings. The thugs were nicknamed the Alien Abduction Gang because all their traumatised victims could tell police is they cannot remember anything about their ordeal. In today's episode, take a look at the gang, led by one of the most ruthless enforcers, and his violent end. The name the Alien Abduction Gang was an off-the-cuff remark by an investigating police officer, and the name was taken up by the press straight away. Nearly weekly there was one of these abductions, and every time the victim had not a clue or would not dare say anything, such was the fear. Detectives for a long while had suspected Kevin Carroll, as its ringleader, of the mob accused of seizing and torturing rivals for cash, drugs and guns. It started becoming word on the streets. Victims disappeared from their homes at night and they're found wandering the streets half naked the next morning. They then tell police they have no memory of what happened. Kevin the Gerbil Carroll has been shot twice in attempted hits, and his crew were linked to lots of similar incidents in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and that's those that are known about. Victims often linked to rival gangs are snatched from their homes at gunpoint by the mob, posing as armed police. They have hoods placed over their heads before being taken to safe houses or disused buildings, where the fear inflicted or cocktail given make sure the victims never remember or speak a word of what happened. One Glasgow victim targeted because he was in possession of a stolen army gun was also threatened. An innocent neighbour of victim Paul Fleming was lucky not to be hit after the gang took pot shots at him when he tried to intervene. There have been other cases in Coatbridge and Greenock, while a plot was foiled after the gang tried to lure two men to an address in Cumbernauld. One gang member spoke how Gerbil seems to think if you don't work for him, then you're not going to work for anyone else ever. Carroll carries guns 5 out of 7 days of the week. The scale of violence, disregard for public safety, and the use of firearms and kidnapping was a major concern to Strathclyde police, who were frustrated at victims' lack of cooperation. The attacks linked to the gang include two in Edinburgh, when one dealer was robbed of 4 kilos of cocaine. Another Asian dealer bought 5 kilos of coke for £60,000 before it was stolen back by the gang in an ambush. Another dealer in Glasgow was on a drugs buy when the mob stole 4 kilos of coke worth up to £50,000 with no violence. Just the words, "You taxed your ban." In another attack, a gang member posed as a postman to get inside the house before another 3 henchmen burst in. Another dealer in Glasgow was robbed of £30,000. He was kept in a cupboard for 2 days. Underworld figures terrified they'll be next on the hit list were angry at the apparent lack of action against Kevin Carroll, nicknamed Gerbil. He has links to the millionaire gang, the Daniels, has been the centre of Scotland's bloodiest gangland feud between the rival Daniel and Lyon's gangs. Daniel clan hitman Raymond Anderson Sr. and James MacDonald were jailed for 35 years each for slaying Michael Lyons, 21 years old, in 2006. In February 2008, Carroll and Raymond Anderson Jr. were arrested over the abduction at gunpoint of Christopher Logan from a flat in Springburn, Glasgow. The gang who threatened Logan with a ruthless torch before dumping him in the street stole a Heckler & Koch gun and ammunition previously nicked from the army. But Logan, later jailed for storing the weapon and drugs, failed to pick out Carroll and Anderson from the ID parade, though Carroll was convicted after being caught with the ammo. Anderson escaped jail after he admitted dealing cocaine. Instead, he was given 248 hours of community service when he appeared at Ayr Sheriff's Court. One criminal source said most of the targets are small-time dealers who work for other gangs, quite often the Lions. Gerbil wants to control who deals and where. Sometimes the attacks are motivated for other reasons, like getting their hands on the army gun, or to target those who may have useful information, or are cash rich. Kevin Carroll was arrested by police probing the triple shooting that resulted in the death of Michael Lyons. He later faced 4 charges relating to the stolen army weapons and ammo, but was jailed for 18 months after admitting just 1 charge. Carroll has been a key player in the Daniel vs Lyons feud, which resulted in countless shootings, slashings and fire attacks. In 2003, Carroll was shot, just 10 days before the shooting of John Lyons, who survived a shotgun attack, 3 years later, Carroll survived a second shooting when he and his pal Ross Sherlock were gunned down in Bishop's Briggs. In 2010, one of the most shocking incidents in Glasgow criminal history happened, and then propelled into all-out war. Customers of the busy Asda branch in Glasgow would have had little idea about the drama to unfold in front of them as they loaded their shopping into their cars. At 1:23 p.m. on January 13, 2010, two masked gunmen, dressed from head to toe in black, fired 13 shots through the windscreen of Daniel's enforcer, Kevin the Gerbil Carroll's black Audi A3, hitting him in the head, hands, jaw, chest and groin. The two killers had blocked the Audi with a stolen Volkswagen Golf and stood on either side and opened fire. Carroll was trapped in the Audi's back seat. The double hit just took 25 seconds and he died instantly. The stolen Golf carrying the two killers was driven to Coatbridge, where their weapons were dumped behind a local library and were later found by a grounds worker. The Golf getaway car was burnt out on a country road in nearby Glen Mavis, and the killers fled. Ironically, Carroll was at an Asda branch for a meeting with a local drug dealer named Stephen Glenn, who he had chillingly warned, "You're working for me now. Anybody that doesn't fall into line is going to get banged." One of Gerbil's killers was a lieutenant in the rival Lyons gang, William Buff Patterson. He was jailed for 22 years over the killing in 2015. Convicted cocaine dealer and key Lyons associate Ross Monaghan was cleared over Gerbil's murder at a 2012 trial. Then there was the Hanlon twins, childhood friends of Kevin Carroll. The twins were attacked 3 months after attending the funeral of Carroll. James was the first to be badly injured when a car he was passenger in was rammed off the road in Steps near Glasgow. A powerful car used in the gangland attack was involved in a high-speed police chase after it was stolen from a home of an Edinburgh lawyer. Thugs in a black Audi S4 convertible tailed victim James Hanlon's Vauxhall Vectra for 4 miles before ramming him. His car was hit by a second vehicle before 6 men chased him, pinned him down at the roadside in Steps near Glasgow, and attacked him with power drills, hammers and chisels. In a separate attack, Brian Hanlon was dragged from his car after it was rammed into a wall and set upon by a group of up to 7 people, armed with knives and hammers. Mr. Hanlon suffered serious injuries to his head and groin, but escaped with his life after police were called to the scene. Press reports at the time were greatly exaggerated of his injuries. Daniel's crime clan associate William Barclay was seriously injured in a March 2018 assassination attempt in Springburn. 2 men opened fire but missed, chased him down in a 4x4 and butchered him with a machete. The year before, he walked free of a not proven verdict over the May 2015 gangland attempted murder of Mark Bristow, who was paralysed after being knocked down, then shot at point blank range in Royston. In February 2019, William Barclay's brother Jamie was shot in the stomach and leg in the same Springburn street after his motor was rammed by hitmen in a transit van. Gangland shooting victim Brian Hughes, who was 25 years old, was blasted in the back by a shotgun welding hitman on March 12, 2020 in Glasgow. Fake cigarette kingpin Cameron Cader, who headed a £28 million cigarette smuggling ring, cheated death in a botched murder bid on May 12, 2020. Cader, 40, ducked for cover as a shooter opened fire and struck a parked car before fleeing. Scaffolder Brian McClear was targeted and shot in the street outside his home. There have been daylight shootings outside 2 primary schools in Glasgow at times of day when children are being fetched by their parents. In another incident, the driver of a car was shot dead while he waited at the lights to change near a motorway junction. The comprehensive police investigations led to a period of calm in a tit-for-tat war that had been raged through Glasgow's hardest streets for decades. Its origins lie in the rivalry between the 2 family gangs, the Lyons and the Daniels, for control of the city's heroin and cocaine market. The legend of Kevin the Gerbil Carroll and his kidnapped gang has become a story that is passed on, a fable that if you're a dealer and you have any sense of self-preservation, you should probably rethink your profession. Otherwise, there may be someone waiting to take you. And if you survive the night, the memories you might recollect, you wish it was aliens.